Hi there, and welcome to this Max Moment. So this is for all of my fellow coaches and leaders who wish they had a team that was more connected, more productive, and more engaged. So let me share a story that might sound familiar. Okay, so you've got to picture this, right? You just received your Ikea shipment, and you open up that box to find what looks like a million little pieces, right? And it's hard to imagine that all of this stuff will soon transform into a working piece of furniture. So you open up that instruction booklet and you get to work, right? And there's maybe some fumbling, some sweating, some confusion, maybe even a few choice words, right? But after what feels like an eternity, there it is, your bookshelf, right? Now, maybe there's a few leftover pieces that you need to hide, but you're proud of what you accomplished. And why is that? It's because you built it. And from now on, that bookshelf is your favorite piece of furniture. And not because it's the sturdiest or because it's perfect, but because you created it. And this phenomenon is known as the Ikea effect, which is simply this: we assign greater value to the things that we build ourselves. But here's the thing, this story isn't about furniture, okay? It's about effort, accomplishment, and ownership. And it applies directly to leadership and building high-performing teams. So let's apply the Ikea effect to leadership. Because you see, as leaders, we often feel the pressure to have all of the answers, to map out every solution, and to steer the ship entirely on our own. But here's the truth. People want to be part of the journey. They want to contribute, they want to create, and they want to feel that their effort has value. So when leaders embrace the principles of the Ikea effect, they create more engaged, more committed, and more cohesive teams. Okay, and here's how. Firstly, it's shared creation is key. Like, leaders sometimes mistake their role as needing to have all the answers, right? But great leadership involves inviting others into the process, right? Because when team members are involved in crafting strategies, like solving problems and creating plans, they're far more likely to be invested in the outcome, right? So at times, it might be best to actually be a guide and not be a decision maker, right? Share the journey and let your team's input shape the path forward, because ownership drives commitment. Now, second is this: value the effort, not just the outcome. Because you see, the Ikea effect reminds us that the process, the struggle, the effort, the overcoming of obstacles is what makes the end result truly valuable. And as a leader, it's vital to recognize and celebrate not just the final achievements, but also the steps along the way. So when you acknowledge the hard work and the progress of your team, you validate their efforts and reinforce their sense of value. Now, third is this: bring problems and not solutions, right? And this can be counterintuitive for leaders. But one of the most powerful lessons from the Ikea effect is this: if you want to create change, don't start by handing over solutions. Like, instead, present clearly defined problems and then ask your team for their input. Because this approach taps into their skills, it fosters participation, and it builds a sense of ownership. And when people are involved in creating solutions, they're more likely to commit to them fully. Now, here's one of the biggest insights of all: we value what we help create. And the Ikea effect is a powerful reminder for leaders and coaches that we place higher value on the things that we help build. So by involving our team in the process, recognizing their effort, and encouraging their ownership of solutions, you'll create a more engaged, more productive, and more connected group of people. So the next time you're building your team, think like you're building an Ikea bookshelf. The effort, the struggle, and the ownership are what is truly valuable. Choose to make today a great day. And as always, choose to live life to the max. I'll see you next time.